In the world of cinema, few names carry the weight and resonance of Leonardo DiCaprio. For over 3 decades, he has captivated audiences with transformative performances in films like Titanic, The Revenant, Inception, and The Wolf of Wall Street. His dedication to his craft, commitment to authenticity, and relentless pursuit of excellence have earned him an Academy Award, multiple Golden Globes, and a place among the most respected actors of his generation. But beyond the red carpets, blockbuster premieres, and legendary roles lies a deeper, quieter legacy, one not defined by fame or fortune, but by action, advocacy, and unwavering dedication to protecting the planet. Born on November 11, 1974, in Los Angeles, California, Leonardo Wilhelm DiCaprio grew up in a creative household that nurtured imagination and individuality. His mother, Ermeline, was a legal secretary with a deep love for the arts, while his father, George, was an underground comic artist and distributor who exposed young Leonardo to countercultural ideas from an early age. Raised in a modest neighborhood near Echo Park, he developed a fascination with storytelling, often performing skits for family and friends. By the age of 5, he had already decided he wanted to be an actor. What began as childhood play soon evolved into a lifelong passion. His first steps into show business came through television commercials and guest appearances on popular series like The New Lassie and Growing Pains. But it was his role in This Boy's Life 1993 opposite Robert De Niro that marked his arrival as a serious, dramatic talent. He portrayed a teenage version of author Tobias Wolff, capturing the emotional turbulence of growing up under an abusive stepfather with raw intensity. The performance caught the attention of Martin Scorsese, launching what would become one of the most enduring director-actor collaborations in modern cinema. A year later, DiCaprio delivered a haunting portrayal of a developmentally disabled boy in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, earning his first Academy Award nomination at just 19 years old. Critics praised his ability to disappear into characters, shedding ego and vanity to reveal vulnerability, pain, and truth. This commitment to realism became a hallmark of his career. Whether playing a con artist in Catch Me If You Can, a revolutionary in Blood Diamond, or a grieving father in Revolutionary Road, DiCaprio never sought easy roles. He chose stories that challenged him, pushed boundaries, and explored the complexities of human nature. But even as his star rose, DiCaprio remained deeply aware of forces far greater than Hollywood. Long before climate change entered mainstream conversation, he was sounding the alarm. His interest in environmental issues began in childhood, sparked by books about endangered species and documentaries on deforestation. As he gained influence, he used his platform not for self-promotion, but for education and mobilization. In 1998, at the height of Titanic-fueled global fame, he hosted a 2-hour primetime special on ABC titled Global Warming: The Signs and the Science, bringing complex ecological data into American living rooms with clarity and urgency. That same year, he founded the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, LDF, a nonprofit dedicated to protecting biodiversity, restoring ecosystems, and combating climate change. Unlike many celebrity charities, LDF operated with scientific rigor, transparency, and long-term vision. It funded frontline conservation efforts across 6 continents, supported indigenous land rights, and backed innovative solutions in renewable energy, ocean protection, and wildlife preservation. Over the next 2 decades, the foundation donated more than $100 million to over 200 projects worldwide. One of its earliest successes came in 2005, when LDF helped establish the Tibetan Plateau Nature Reserve, one of the largest protected areas on Earth, home to rare snow leopards, wild yaks, and vital freshwater sources feeding Asia's major rivers. The region faced threats from mining, poaching, and infrastructure development. Through partnerships with local communities and international scientists, DiCaprio's team supported research, anti-poaching patrols, and sustainable livelihood programs. ensuring both ecological integrity and cultural preservation. Another landmark achievement occurred in 2016, when LDF played a crucial role in creating the Papanamokukia Marine National Monument expansion in Hawaii, the largest marine sanctuary in the world at the time. Covering over 580,000 square miles of ocean, the reserve protects thousands of species, including endangered monk seals, sea turtles, and coral reefs vulnerable to warming waters. DiCaprio didn't just fund the effort, he traveled to the region, met with native Hawaiian leaders, and amplified their voices on global stages, emphasizing that environmental justice must include indigenous knowledge and sovereignty. DiCaprio's advocacy reached new heights in 2016 when he accepted the Academy Award for Best Actor for his physically grueling performance in The Revenant. In his acceptance speech, he turned the spotlight away from himself and onto the planet. Climate change is real. It is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire species. The moment resonated far beyond the Dolby Theater. It reignited public debate, inspired youth movements, and pressured policymakers to act. Within weeks, search trends for climate change spiked globally, and donations to environmental organizations surged. For DiCaprio, the Oscar wasn't just personal validation. It was a megaphone for a cause he had championed for decades. His work extended beyond funding and speeches. He produced and narrated award-winning documentaries such as Before the Flood 2016, which followed him across 5 continents to examine the impacts of climate change and explore viable solutions. The film, co-produced with National Geographic, reached millions through theatrical release, streaming platforms, and free online access. It showcased melting glaciers, drought-stricken farmlands, and rising sea levels, but also solar farms, green cities, and grassroots activists fighting for change. Rather than inducing despair, it aimed to inspire action. In 2021, he launched Countdown, a global initiative hosted on YouTube in collaboration with TED, uniting scientists, entrepreneurs, and celebrities around scalable solutions to cut greenhouse gas emissions in half by 2030. The campaign featured live events, educational content, and calls to action, emphasizing that while the crisis is immense, so too is human ingenuity. DiCaprio didn't position himself as a savior. He acted as a connector, amplifying voices often excluded from mainstream discourse. Beyond climate, DiCaprio has supported humanitarian causes with equal conviction. In 2010, after a devastating earthquake struck Haiti, he donated $1 million through his foundation to provide emergency relief, clean water, and medical supplies. He advocated for refugees displaced by war and climate disasters, partnering with UNCA and other agencies to raise awareness and funds. He also lent his voice to campaigns against wildlife trafficking, particularly the illegal trade in ivory and pangolin scales, which threaten species with extinction. Perhaps one of his most impactful interventions involved a young girl named Amara Diallo, a 14-year-old from Guinea who survived an attack by poachers targeting forest rangers in her village. After witnessing the murder of her uncle, a park protector, Amara fled with her family and spent months in a refugee camp. When her story reached the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation through a partner organization working in West Africa, it triggered immediate action. LDF coordinated with local Ingos to relocate Amara and her siblings to a safe community school, provided trauma counseling, and funded her education through university level. Today, she studies environmental law, determined to defend the forests where her childhood unfolded. DiCaprio never met Amara in person, nor did he seek recognition for his role. For him, success is measured in headlines, but in outcomes, in acres preserved, species saved, policies changed, and lives empowered. He believes that privilege carries responsibility, and that those with visibility must use it to elevate critical issues others may ignore. Despite intense media scrutiny, he has maintained remarkable consistency in values and mission. Off-screen, he lives modestly, avoids luxury branding, and travels sustainably whenever possible. He owns an eco-friendly home in Los Angeles powered by solar energy and drives electric vehicles. He rarely attends award shows unless they align with advocacy goals, preferring quiet meetings with scientists, policymakers, and grassroots leaders. His partnership with director Martin Scorsese has produced some of cinema's most enduring works. Gangs of New York, The Aviator, The Departed, Shutter Island, The Wolf of Wall Street, and Killers of the Flower Moon, each exploring themes of power, corruption, identity, and moral decay. With Killers of the Flower Moon 2023, he took on a role unlike any before. Not as lead actor, but as producer and advocate for the Osage Nation, ensuring authentic representation and fair compensation for Native communities, central to the true story. Throughout his journey, DiCaprio has remained grounded in purpose. He does not see himself as a hero, but as a steward of talent, of opportunity, of planetary health. His legacy will not be confined to film reels or trophy cases. It will be written in the survival of polar bears, the revival of coral reefs, the empowerment of indigenous guardians, and the awakening of global consciousness. And perhaps that is the most profound truth about Leonardo DiCaprio. Behind every powerful performance is a man driven not by accolades, but by accountability. Behind every photograph on a magazine cover is someone quietly working to ensure there will still be a world worth photographing tomorrow. Because greatness is not only found in how brightly you shine, but in how much light you help others see.